Hello po sa lahat. Welcome to my channel. Sa mga hindi pa po nakasubscribe, i-click nyo lang po ang subscribe, click nyo yung bell button, and then select all for more updates. Maraming salamat. Hello everyone. In this video, you will learn all about Introduction to Fractions. So, I'm Teacher Saldi. Welcome to my channel. So, let's start with the definition of fraction. Fractions are numerical quantities that is not a whole number. So we have examples: 1/2, 3/8, 10/9, 1 and 10/11, 15/14, 20/23, 5 and 26/27, and lastly 15 and 17/35. Parts of a fraction. So we have example 2 and 1/8. The number above is what we call the numerator, or the number that tells the equal parts taken. So later on, we will have an example. The number below is what we call denominator, that tells the total number of equal parts in a whole. And then we have 2 as the whole number. And lastly, the bar line in between the numerator and the denominator is what we call vinculum, the line that separates the numerator and denominator. So in other references, it is called virgule. We have types of fractions. First one is what we call unit fractions, or these are the fractions having 1 as the numerator. Examples. So we have 1/2. So that is read as 1/2 or 1/2. So 1/2 in a whole, it is divided into 2, and the part that is taken is 1. So which is 1/2, or the fraction is read as 1/2. Next one is 1/3. So you have 1 whole, which is divided into 3, and the part that is taken, or the part that is shaded, is 1. So that's 1/3, or 1/3. Next, we have 1/4. So 1/4. So in a whole number, it is divided by 4, and 1 is shaded, or 1 is taken. Next one is 1/5. So in a whole number, it is divided into 5, and 1 is shaded, or 1 is taken. So that's 1/5, or 1/5. So in these fractions, it is, for me, it is better to say 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, and 1/5. Because when the fraction gets higher, you will not be confused. The next one is what we call proper fractions. Are fractions in which the numerator is less than in denominator. So let's have examples. 3/4, or read as 3/4. So is what we call proper fraction because the numerator is lesser, or is less than the denominator, which is 4. So in this fraction, the 1 whole is divided into 4, and 3 parts are taken. Next example, we have 7/9, or 7/9. So a whole, or 1 whole, is divided into 9, and 7 equal parts are taken, or shaded. So that's 7/9. Next is 10/11, or other references, 10/11. So 1 whole is divided into 11 equal parts, and 10 is shaded, or 10 parts are taken. 10 equal parts are taken. 5 over 6 or 5/6. So, a whole is divided into 6 and 5 equal parts are taken or 5 equal parts are shaded. So those are what we call proper fractions. Numerator is less than the denominator. Next is what we call improper fractions. So these are the fractions in which the numerator is greater than the denominator. So vice versa on the proper fractions. Let's have examples. 4 over 3 or read as 4/3. So in 4 over 3 we have 2 whole, one is divided into 3, and then all parts are taken. And the other one, another whole is divided into 3 and one equal part is taken or shaded. So that's 4 over 3. Next one is 5 over 2 or read as 5/2. So we have 3 divided into 2 and 5 equal parts are taken. Next one is 10 over 3 or read as 10/3. Okay, so we have 4 whole numbers divided into 3 and 10 equal parts are taken. So that is why later on 4 over 3 is also equivalent to 1 and 1/3. 5 over 2 is also equivalent to 2 and 1/2. And 10 over 3 is equivalent to 3 and 1/3. So next is what we call the mixed numbers. Mixed numbers are fractions consisted of a whole number, a numerator, and a denominator. Examples, 1 and 1/2. So 1 whole and then 1/2 as the fraction. 3 and 4 over 5, we have 3 and 4/5. So 3 whole parts and then 1 is divided into 5 and 4 equal parts are taken or shaded. And then we have fractions equal to 1. So for some or in other references, it is considered as improper fractions. So these are the fractions in which the numerator is equal to the denominator. So always remember that when the numerator is equal to denominator, that fraction is equal to 1. Example, over 2 or 2/2. So the first example is cut into 2. Okay, and then 2 equal parts are taken or 2 equal parts are shaded. So that's 1 whole. You see, it is equivalent into 1. Next is 10 over 10 or 10/10. Okay, so 10 equal parts and then 10 equal parts are taken or 10 equal parts are shaded. So that's equal to 1 whole. Next we have 15 over 15. So the first example is cut into 15 equally and then 15 equal parts are taken. So that's equal to 1. So always remember, when the numerator is equal to the denominator, it is equal to 1. So we have other forms of fractions. So similar fractions or in other references, it is called as like fractions. So these are the fractions with the same denominator. Let's have an example or examples. So 2/5 and 4/5 or 2 over 5 and 4 over 5. These are what we call similar fractions because they have the same denominator. So 1 over 12 and 7 over 12. Also 4 over 9 and 8 over 9. And then 10 over 11 and 6 over 11. So these are what we call similar fractions. And then the next one is what we call dissimilar fractions or in other references, it is called unlike fractions. So these are the fractions with different denominator. They do not have the same denominator. So 2 over 5 and 4 over 7. So 1/4 and 2/3. So 3 over 5 and 7 over 10. 3 over 8 and 1 over 9. So this is what we call the similar fractions because fractions having different denominator. Okay? Now, proper fractions can be written as mixed numbers or vice versa. When we say vice versa, also the mixed numbers can be written as improper fractions. So how's that? Let's have an example, 7 over 2. So we will write 7 over 2. This is what we call improper fractions or improper fraction. We will write it as mixed numbers. So 7 over 2, that would be equal to 2 over 2 plus 2 over 2 plus 2 over 2 plus 1 over 2. Which is equal to 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 over 2. So because 2 over 2 is equal to 1. And that is 3 and 1 over 2. In other references, we have 7 divided by 2. Fraction is division. Okay, so that's why we got 7 divided by 2. So 7 divided by 2, the nearest number that we can have is 3. Okay, or the nearest quotient we can get is 3. So 3 times 2, that's 6. So minus, so 7 minus 6, that's 1. So 3 now is what we call the quotient. That will be the whole number. Okay? And then we have the remainder. That will be the numerator. And then 2 as the divisor, we have the denominator. So that is why 7 over 2 is also equal to 3 and 1/2. Next, so we have writing mixed numbers as improper fractions. So we have in writing mixed numbers as improper fractions, we multiply the whole number with the denominator and then add the numerator and then simply copy the denominator. Let's have an example. So let's have 5 and 3 over 8. So the first thing to do, we multiply the whole number with the denominator and then add the numerator. So that is 5 times 8 plus 3 over, all over, simply copy the denominator. Since the denominator is 8, we will write 8. We will copy using PEMDAS or the PEMDAS. We multiply first 5 times 8. That would be equal to 40. So 40 plus 3, that's 43 over 8. Or 5 and 3 over 8, that's 8 over 8 plus 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 3 over 8. Okay, so that's 1 plus 1. In adding similar fractions, we have add the numerator and copy the denominator. So 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 3, that would be equal to 43 over 8. So that's it. I hope you learned something from this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like every video and add your comments or suggestions. Thank you.